Hey there, here's my tutorial on how to do your own DIY homemade cake boards, cake drums. I don't know about you, but I get tired of paying $4, $5, $6, $7 and more for these nice and strong but expensive cake boards. They're just cardboard, for heaven's sake, so I decided there's got to be a better way. So what I did was I went and I got some foam core board at the dollar store. They're $1 for a sheet. I have cut this one up, but they're bigger than this, of course, you can see. So you go get yourself 10 sheets or so, and you cut round circles of whatever diameter you like. And let me get started first by telling you what you're going to need. You're going to need some tape, hopefully on a tape holder that you can use with one hand. A good strong cutter. I recommend these guys, or an X-Acto knife, something that can be really nice and sharp and you can change the blade regularly because it will get dull with the foam board. Some cute wrapping papers. I actually bought this at Tuesday Morning. I'm going to try this tonight. This is actually the stuff that they use for Cricut machines. I'm going to see what happens with that. And a hot glue gun. And so let's get started. All right, so rather than showing you how I actually cut, all I did was I put my foam board down. I took a regular cake board that of the size that I wanted. I just traced it around and I cut it. So pretty easy. Don't need to show you that, but I will show you the difference between a sharp cutting instrument and a dull cutting instrument. So you can see the difference here. This is the dull one that I forced it through. And this is the sharp one. So get one of these. I like these because you can break them off as they get dull. Alrighty, so I've got a whole bunch of these in different sizes. And this is what 10 sheets of foam core from the dollar store cut for me. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 of those for about less, if you count the foam core board and the little bit of tape and hot glue and some, contact paper that was on the list that we didn't need, food safe contact paper, that list of things we need. And all the stuff that you need for this, probably for $20. And how many did we get? 18 of these. So that's about $1 a piece. And look at them, they're all different sizes. Now what I do for the small cakes, the smaller ones, I do it double thickness. So what I would do is I'd cut 2 of these guys out, go ahead and hot glue them together, nice and strong, because you know, if it's an 8 or a 6-inch cake, it's not going to be hugely heavy. So 2 is probably okay. Now, the 12s and the 14s, yeah, those might be heavy, so I do those 3. So that's what I'm going to cover tonight. I have various different sizes, so I'm going to just take one of these and show you how I cover it. This is 2, so let's try a 2. The other thing I did was I got tired of cutting circles, so I bought one of these things to try and cut the foam core board with. Thought it would be great. Well, it was a total fail. I don't think they're made for foam core. They might be okay for paper, so I might try it tonight on just the paper part, but they don't work for foam core. You really have to use this stuff and get one that's nice and long so that you can actually cut through a whole layer of foam core and not have to go back. All right, so I'm going to cut out let's see what I have here. I have this one, which might be just the right size. Maybe not. No, it's not quite size. So I'll use that for a small one. So let me try this one here, which I have. So what you're going to do is take your wrapping paper or whatever it is that you're going to do it with. Go ahead and cut something. You need what is that, about 3 inches, 2.5, something like that, 2 inches. on all sides because you're going to need that when you actually go and tape it. And then I like to cut these little corners off. Now you can use tape for this next step, or you can use the hot glue. I've kind of gone back and forth. I like them both. So I'm going to try the hot glue. Let's see if its baby is hot. Yeah, it looks like it. You can burn your hands a bit, so just be careful. So go ahead and just put a little bit down there. And then you just go around. Putting a little drop down here and there. If you need to, you can add a little bit of tape on top. Okay, just checking the camera there, make sure you can see everything. I took apart my KitchenAid about 2 months ago, and today I decided I got to put it back together again, and the guy that had the tutorial that I was using, he was really good, but all of his work was off the camera by about 2 inches, and so when you're putting the thousands of pieces together from a KitchenAid mixer, you kind of need to see it. So I was really trying to guess what he was doing there because his hands were actually just a tiny bit off the camera. Anyway, I got that little girl humming, purring like a kitten. She's doing well. I might just have to have an electrician or another kind of professional look at it because it's not using all of its speeds. The high speed it only goes up to about 8, and it should go, I think, 1 higher. Ouch. But anyway, it's nice to have my little KitchenAid back, and she's got all new lubrication in it. I checked all the parts. There was this guy on YouTube that had a really good tutorial of how to take it apart and service it. I was amazed at all the gunk and old oil that was in there. Wow. I did take a few pictures of it. Okay, so getting about halfway here. What are you guys doing in your cakes? You doing some fun cakes? I just did a sweet one last Sunday. It was a little sort of alpine cake with trees and, you know, shadowy mountains on it and everything. And the bride and the groom were fly fishing enthusiasts. So then they said, they wanted a second cake, a groom's cake of a man fly fishing and throwing his line onto the bride's cake. So the bride's cake was the pretty pine cake, and then I made a little 6-inch gluten-free out of for the fly fisherman. We got this little figure. I put him in there, so I kind of sunk him into about his mid-calf, about 4 inches high. I got him on Etsy. Boy, that was an act of God to get that, but the guy was really sweet when I finally found him and he could do it. Anyway, I had him waiting in the water. I made the cake look like water, real watercolory, and his line was being cast to the bride's cake, and he even made this teeny tiny sweet little fly, and it was really cute. I haven't heard back how they liked it. It was through a wedding planner, and sometimes, sometimes she takes a few days before she tells me how the bride and everybody liked their stuff. I thought it was cute, though. Cute idea. I like it when brides and grooms give you fun ideas to do. You feel like you're using your creativity a little more. Okay, so you do want to pull these so you don't have any gaps on the side as you're gluing or taping. Now, some people just tape this, and that's okay too. And then here you've got your sides, nice. And there you go, very pretty. Now, you don't want it to get all greasy and goopy, so you're going to put some contact paper on it. Food safe contact paper. And there's a bit of a trick to that. I don't like it to go on the sides here, because sometimes I want to put a ribbon there, And also I just want it to just go right to this edge. So what I will do is I'll cut one a little bit bigger, not much, maybe a 1/2 inch or so. Oops. You don't have to be super careful about how you cut it because you're going to cut it again. But you do have to be careful that it is bigger. Okay, now I'll go ahead and start it. And then you're not going to take too much off, just a little bit to kind of get it started. And then sort of peel it back and get it like this and put it out about the amount that you cut it on all sides, and then just peel it back this way. Oops, looks like I didn't quite get that in the right spot there. You can restart once or twice, but most of the time it's great if you can, better if you don't have to restart it ever. Okay, then as you pull it, you're going to want to just kind of push it down so you don't get any bubbles. All right, now you can see here that I have this on here, and I just kind of push down to the edges. Now you're going to take your very sharp X-Acto knife, or one of these little things. I don't know what they're called. And the best way to do it, in my opinion, is to just get it started. And then you go under it and you just kind of run your thing along the edge. It takes a few tries to get the angle right, and then you just kind of right on the edge, being a little bit careful not to cut your paper. And then you can see here how it's, you can also do it from the top. I think I've done it from the top as well. Kind of helps if you hold it up lightly. I'm going to see if I can get it a little closer here for you. You can kind of see how it's cutting. So yes, you can see it's super important that you have a really sharp blade. Now sometimes if you get stuck and it gets kind of wonky on one side, just go ahead and go back and start on the other side. So, this would be a time I could maybe do it from the top. I've also done this way. Sometimes you got to kind of go back and get it started again. Sometimes the top works better depending on if you're a righty or a lefty. I think it's less easy to cut the paper if you're going from the top. So there you go. You have a nice grease-proof, pretty little thing for less than 50 cents probably. No more than $1, that's for sure. And then what you can do, you can take another piece of cardboard, or let's say you had a 6-inch, you can do this, and that makes the bottom really pretty. You would just hot glue that on. I'm not going to do that, although sometimes I do, but what I am going to do, and this is Liz Merrick's idea, the Cake Queen, I like to put these little feet on them, because then that gives you something to grab. It makes it a lot easier to move when you're doing your cakes. It can make it a little bit more difficult when you're putting it on your, if you have a smallish turntable, if you're doing your final things on your turntable, your final decorations. But if you have a really big turntable, it'll be fine. I have a little one, and so sometimes these things get off kilter. But anyway, there you go. Now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you can use this. Bye-bye.